Prime Minister Gabrielle, she told yesterday that it's not about change, it's about changing the base, yeah? And let's see how we can change the base, how you can act together with responsibility for the European future. And we will look at 4 pillars. It's infrastructure, it's energy, it's digital technology and innovation. And we have high representatives according to these pillars. My discussion partners are already feeling at home on stage, as I can see, and it will be my pleasure to introduce them one by one personally when we move further into the discussion. Right now, I address a general welcome, and I invite our 2 impulse speakers to open up the sessions, starting with Diplom Engineer Wolfgang ANZENGRUBER, the former CEO of Verbund AG and member of the board of Vienna Economic Forum. He will do his impulse statement in German language, so for those of you having a translator, please use this. Mr. ANZENGRUBER.
Ladies and gentlemen, right at the beginning, I'd like to convey my congratulations to the 20th Jubilee, and it's a great pleasure to welcome all of you in this wonderful hall discussing the topics. Europe, as the previous speakers have already mentioned, is facing a great many different challenges, or has already been caught up in the network of these challenges, starting with the wars raging at the borders of the European Union, of Europe, the migrational topics that keep us busy, and increasing nationalism and populism in the various states, all the way up to a climate crisis. Some keep referring to it as a climate catastrophe, and energy dependence, entailing a great many influences and difficulties, and the dependency on resources, which leads us to the aspects of digital transformation and artificial intelligence. In the next couple of minutes, I'd like to focus on energy and infrastructure, because I believe that the turn of our energy world is one of the main aspects we are all confronted with in Europe and globally. The initial situation is quite clear, I think, and meanwhile not being discussed or debated anymore. In the last 60 years, the CO2 concentration in our atmosphere has been increased drastically, going way beyond the last 200,000 years of values. We have about 400 ppm CO2 concentration in our atmosphere these days, and we are also familiar with the consequences and the impact, and that's climate heating. CO2 concentration in the atmosphere correlates with the global temperatures prevailing. This year, a couple of days ago, we read the information in the media. It said it's going to be the hottest year in the last 125,000 years. The dramatic increase of our environmental catastrophes are an impact of this very development. We are seeing flood catastrophes, scarcity of water, burning woods, forests, and many more aspects that have an influence on our societies, on our economies, being a real threat for economy. And therefore it's necessary, that's one of the prerequisites, saying that the transformation definitely has to be a green one, given priority to. And I do see 5 fields of action, generally speaking, that we should jointly tackle in the next couple of years. One field of action basically is decarbonization or defossilization of our energy system. The energy system of the past was generally based on fossil fuels and resources, and in the decades to come, it will be our task to focus on renewables, in particular depending on the circumstances prevailing in the regions. It's solar energy, wind energy, in our region in particular hydropower, and or biomasses and geothermal energy playing a pivotal role in the future. And it's the Western Balkan states in particular that, particularly when it comes to renewables, has still a great potential to use it requires investment in a secured environment, making sure these investments can be made. Another major sector is our energy-intense industry in various regions that will have to be electrified. That is something where we can make big gains when it comes to emissions, to the damage to our climate, to the emissions. In particular, I have to mention the chemical industry, the steel industry, fertilizers and pesticides industry, but also the aspect of mobility. So in these very areas, we have major levers to quickly improve the situation, hopefully. Another item I'd like to mention, and that's something where we are more or less in an infancy stage, that is the hydrogen industry of the future. It's our clear situation that when we focus on renewables as an alternative, the classical fuels, oil, gas, and coal need to be replaced. Energy is no carrier. We need hydrogen or biomass as a carrier, making sure that we can store energy produced and to make sure that highly energetic processes that can't be electrified be replaced by hydrogen as a fuel. Another item is digitalization. Digitalization is a primary instrument to make sure that all of these challenges can be tackled and got to grips with in future. What does that mean? As we apply the various facets of digitalization, IT technologies, the efficiency of our systems can drastically be increased, and with the consumers of energy, we can improve our regulatory systems in order to not only make the system more efficient, but stabilize it in the long run. Another major item, and that's the last one of these 5 fields of action I can see on the horizon, is circular economy. It's also in circular economy that we have to make major progress in order to reduce the dependence on resources and energy, balance the situation in a better way, and look at the situation of our consumption of various resources that we want to improve. But there is one aspect that is crucial when looking at Europe as a region to make progress. It will be important to increase cooperation, to improve cooperation. All of these tasks can't be handled on a national level alone. What we need is a holistic point of view to take, and one of the major prerequisites from my point of view is infrastructure. We definitely need a stable and efficient infrastructure in the field of energy. That means the grids, the gas networks, as well as hydrogen networks too, which are necessary for a region, for an economic area, to be competitive, to remain competitive in the future as well. Another aspect includes the barriers still available in Europe when it comes to transport or exchange of energy. These have to be eliminated. These barriers not only go to the Western Balkan states, but we also find them in the Western European part. Then it will be possible in these fields as well to find a level playing field and not any distortion of European competition. And the third aspect is improved cooperation when it comes to research and development. I think in Europe we have such a huge potential of intelligence that we are to use, not only for national ideas, but also for European ones. At the universities, in research institutions, we need to foster cooperation in order to be able to get to grips with these challenges. And another consideration, which also is essential, as I believe, when we look at the situation prevailing right now, where we do see imbalances, the European and the national systems have to be brought into some balance. For research, for industry, we have different subsidy schemes, and therefore we distort the base for competition. Competition is important, and competition has to be placed on a level playing field, not being distorted by nationalisms, not entailing any disadvantages or advantages. The energy concept has to be a European-wide one, and nation-state action alone will not attain any targets we try to achieve. And some more message I'd like to share with you, not only directed to the Western Balkan states, but to our country as well. We have to get rid of the ideas of autarky. We won't be independent. This is not the target to fight for when it comes to the energy sector. We need competition in order to be able to solve these challenges successfully in the future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. ANZENGRUBER.
Thank you very much, Mr. ANZENGRUBER, for independence to a positive interdependence and cooperation.
You started with the energy and the climate change, but you made us aware how intertwined energy is with infrastructure, with economy, the circular economy, digitalization and innovation. And I'm sure this will also be a key message of our next Impulse speaker, Mr. Wilbert VERHEIJEN, Managing Director, Canon CEE, Cooperation Partner and Member of the Board of Vienna Economic Forum. May I invite you to the lecture.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to stand here in front of you today, and I would like to take the opportunity to share an impulse statement about digitalization. We've talked already about it a bit this morning, and it is one of the key drivers probably for development of the region that we're talking about. So as Canon CEE, CEE stands for Central and Eastern Europe, we focus not only on Central and Eastern Europe, but also Southeast Europe, the West Balkans included, Ukraine, and also Turkey is a key market for us as Canon. And these markets have proven over the last couple of years to be outperforming Western Europe and to some extent even other emerging markets in the world. So as a business opportunity, it is profound that we talk together about how to further strengthen this area and to address all these different topics that we have already touched on this morning, in which I think digital transformation can be one of the underlying forces that can move the region to the next level. So let's talk about it a bit in more detail. If we look at digital transformation, in Europe, it has been a business, really the business sector that has benefited from this mostly. It's companies are embracing digital tools to enhance productivity, to streamline operations, tap into global markets. And this has not only bolstered economic competitiveness, but also created jobs and economic opportunities. And these are the key themes when we talk about our region, where the European tech industry has shown remarkable growth, nurturing innovative startups and attracting investments from around the world, like we heard this morning from Turkey. Digital entrepreneurship has been on the rise in various Eastern European and Balkan countries. For example, in Romania, in Bulgaria, Serbia, also Ukraine, even despite the war going on at the moment, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, North Macedonia, you mentioned it. All these countries have seen the emergence of startup ecosystems. And these are like technology hubs. If you think about it, the EU funding has helped a lot in this respect, government initiatives locally. And you can see these digital entrepreneurs creating these ecosystems like in cities like Bucharest, like Cluj. We have some great examples, Sofia, but also in Ukraine, like Kiev, Lviv, Kharkiv. These are cities that have gained a reputation nowadays to be innovation centers and creating these much needed jobs that we talked about before. So the adoption of digital tools has not only spurred economic growth, but also transformed the way governments function and how citizens interact with their governments. And the benefit here that some of our countries have is that they don't have to deal with legacy systems. I think somebody already mentioned it this morning that many Western European countries are dealing with legacy systems, and therefore it's more difficult to move on to the latest technology. In our region, it's much more that when you start from first time, you start with the latest technology. So there's a jump here, a leap forward, that countries like already Ukraine has shown this, Slovenia, Croatia. E-government initiatives are, let's say, more advanced in some of our countries than they are in Western Europe. So this is another opportunity that we can capture. It's not only companies and government, but also education and research that have benefited from this digital revolution. Universities, research institutions are using the power of digital tools for collaborative research, e-learning, knowledge sharing. So this is not only accelerating scientific advancement, but it's also made education more accessible and made it more accessible to a wider audience in our countries. So this is all opportunity. Obviously, there's also challenges when we come to digital transformation, and the two most important ones, in my opinion, are security, cybersecurity, and privacy concerns. So this is, we must continue to invest in robust cyber technology, cyber security measures, and we must make sure that the legislation is there to safeguard the personal data of all citizens. Then in that respect, there is also, we see some resistance to cloud adoption. And the cloud is actually a key driver for the digital transformation. It's understandable to some extent, especially when data security, data sovereignty, and compliance with local regulations is very important. Then there is some hesitation to put data in the cloud, so to say. However, I think when the understanding and the awareness of cloud technology is maturing and governments and organizations are addressing these concerns, the adoption of cloud solutions is likely to continue and will grow both in the public and the private sectors in our countries. The forecast at this moment is that this will grow by 20% per year in the next coming years, reaching 12 billion euros in 2026 in just Central and Eastern European countries alone. This is an estimate by IEDC, a market research company. So cloud technology adoption varies from country to country based on several factors, including the size of the country's technology sector, government initiatives, and the readiness of business to embrace cloud solutions. But we see already some very strong examples of government promoting cloud adaptation. So accelerating digital transformation requires planning, therefore. It requires investment. It requires a focus on education and upskilling. And it requires a commitment to adapt and innovate in an ever-evolving digital landscape. In that respect, also as Canon, we have invested a lot in digitalization, not only to help our customers and, for example, in document management, like, for example, digital mail rooms or other business processes that companies are digitizing. But also we invest in our own company to use digitization as a competitive advantage. And this is something we believe that it's not just a one-off event or a project, but it's a journey. It's a never-ending journey, actually, in that respect. And this type of journey or expedition we are embarking on ourselves, we are embarking on with our customers, our business partners, and the communities that we operate in the countries. So our commitment as Canon goes beyond just technological advancement. We would like to extend it to fostering meaningful discussions and collaborations, and we invite all of you to share your thoughts, questions, and ideas so we can together explore the direction of how digitalization and innovation is shaping our world. Your perspectives matter, and they can spark new ways of thinking and acting. So let's shape the future together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for raising the flag for the digital transformation on this journey to the future. I, with you, take a seat here in the middle. Yeah, so I would suggest that we follow the path of the first discussion round and that we do an opening round in which you can share your general point of view related to these 4 pillars. We heard already a lot about it. And some of you also here have provided PowerPoint slides, so just make sure that the remote control is nearby. Perfect. So I would like to open the dialogue with you, Dr. Lilyana PAVLOVA. In your former roles, as well as in your actual role, you are a strong and reliable partner for the Vienna Economic Forum. You were Minister of Regional Development and Public Works of Bulgaria, Minister of Bulgaria's Presidency of the Council of the EU, and actually Vice President of the European Investment Bank. So from your perspective, I know that you see it also that these 4 pillars are very strong, intertwined, and probably you can share this perspective with us. And for all of you, we have a counter also that you can have the timing, that you can see the timing.
Thank you very much, Daniela, and good morning, everyone. It's indeed a great pleasure and honor to me again to participate already more than 10 years as part of Vienna Economic Forum in the different editions, including the one during the Bulgarian presidency in Sofia, hopefully next year another one. And unfortunately, Elena just left the room. I wanted to start by congratulating her, but maybe I can conclude by congratulating her in person, because I believe that she was really the engine of Vienna Economic Forum throughout those 20 years, becoming such a prominent high-level platform for discussion and collaboration. But going back to the topic of building bridges, the overarching topic of today, indeed, I believe that, first of all, in this very intensive and very fragmented geopolitical environment in which we are today, more than ever, we need to find really the best, pragmatically, the best ways for not only building economic bridges, but building physical bridges, but also building emotional, people-to-people bridges, relations, in order to be able to continue. But since the topic indeed of today is how to continue ensuring economic stability, economic prosperity and growth, and security, which is nowadays unfortunately very, very high on our agenda. Indeed, I believe that the 4 pillars we are discussing today, infrastructure, environment, and energy, digital transformation and digital technologies along with innovation, are the key foundational pillars which are important separately, but most importantly they are interlinked and interdependent, I should say, interconnected in the environment we are living. And starting very briefly on each and one of them, I don't see the timer, but I hope it's okay with the timing, but very briefly on each of them. First on infrastructure. Of course, the infrastructure is the backbone of our economies, and this is really the founding layer, because we have the digital infrastructure, we have the physical infrastructure, and it's about also connectivity, because without connectivity, as we discussed today, integration to the European common market of the Western Balkans, integration of Bulgaria and Romania in Schengen, providing better connectivity for commerce, for culture, for exchanges, for better connection this is the way to enforce economy, to enforce and to ensure growth of Europe. And when I say Europe, I believe that in the continent we are all together on the continent, and so the European integration as such is, as we discussed it already last night at the opening, Europe needs Western Balkans and our partners, Ukraine, Moldova. Equally, we need each other, and we for the sake of security, for the sake of prosperity of the people. And that's why TEN-T, as we call them, Trans-European Network and corridors, they go beyond the borders. This is indeed the connectivity, rail, roads and energy connectivity for the region. And moving to the energy, unfortunately, the devastating war in Ukraine really it forced Europe to think of decarbonization, to think even more about climate change, but also from the perspective of economic security and energy security and reducing dependencies, for which for many years we were taking some of those links for granted. And as COVID pandemics was the accelerator for the digital transformation, I believe that the energy crisis we were facing is the accelerator for decarbonization, for investing more in renewables, energy efficiency, building better networks. So it is, as we say, every crisis is an opportunity, and we have to seize this opportunity, because in times of uncertainty, the only thing which is certain is that the uncertainty is the new certainty. That is why we need to make sure that we really joining our efforts, and there is a great potential. We just need to seize the potential and to use the instrument in place. And by saying instruments, I believe indeed, as we heard in the keynote speech in the beginning, digitalization, digital transformation is the key for driving our success, because as we say nowadays, bytes move faster than bullets. Unfortunately, we still have bullets and devastating wars here around us, but nevertheless, by investing in and connecting each other is the future, because faster we connect, faster we introduce technologies, irrespective of age, demographic or economic status of people, we have to provide equal opportunity for everyone to be connected and to drive forward the economic prosperity through the digital means, technologies. And speaking on technologies, this is my last point, innovation is of critical importance, because innovation, we cannot move forward, we cannot let's say, we cannot progress. As I could say, a Europe that innovates is a Europe that leads. This is the only way forward. And I still believe that Europe has a competitive advantage in innovation, especially in green innovation. This is where still Europe is faster and stronger, rather than more globally thinking. Innovation and innovators are more successful maybe in US, in Asia for many years. Even young innovators from Europe very quickly move out of Europe. And this is now our mission, to massively invest in European innovations, to keep European unicorns and innovators here in Europe, to innovate, to grow with the recent instruments like the Scale Up Initiative, European Tech Champion Initiative. This is an opportunity really to invest and to boost innovations in Europe. And one important reason behind, speaking on the previous topic, today we discuss energy transition, digital technologies, green technologies. But let's be honest, today we don't have all necessary technologies to achieve the energy transition and decarbonization of the continent, and the ambition of 2050, zero or low carbon continent, is impossible today, because today we have only 50% of the needed technologies. So the others are in testing phase or not yet discovered. So what we need is massively invest in green technologies, in innovation, supporting them, staying in Europe, expanding and equipping and promoting and giving a chance for younger people really to have the right incentives and the right instruments to innovate and to do so. And maybe just in conclusion, as I said, all these pillars are interconnected, but it is important to have the political will and really the unity of everyone to move forward together. And I'm really encouraged by the recent visit of Commissioner President von der Leyen in the Western Balkan regions, when she already presented the new growth plan, 6 billion investment program, grants and loans for boosting the region. And then the EU enlargement report, which was published on 8th of November, clearly outlining, okay, there are certain steps, reforms which needs to be undertaken, but clearly the way forward for our partners, our regions in Western Balkans, Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, is within closer and faster integration to EU, and this is the only and the only way forward. I believe, of course, with given specific conditions are met. Merit-based is the key principle. Thank you.
Thank you. So commitment, yeah, this is worth an applause, I agree. Always time for an applause. So commitment, joint commitment is key. And you told also that the pandemic crisis was kind of an accelerator in the digitalization. And that's an interesting aspect, that growth can not only be done by, let's say it in a metaphor, by climbing up mountains, but it's also about how to go through valleys and come back, yeah, after going through valleys. Yeah. I would like now to address to Mr. Yiannis THOMATOS, Vice President of the Delphi Economic Forum from Greece and strategic partner of Vienna Economic Forum. We're looking forward to get as well from you a deeper understanding of the role and contribution of Greece within the European future.
First of all, thank you very much. It's a very, very great pleasure to be here in this magnificent setting. We ourselves are collaborators of the Vienna Economic Forum for quite some time, and I believe that it doesn't really have to do with Greece, even though I will speak on Greece. It has to do of how we need more of Europe, and Greece is there to play a big role because regardless of the 10 years of crisis that we can say that we have a setback, Greece still remains the only country in the region which is part of the Eurozone, and it's also part of NATO. So it really has a big role to play, and I think that it's ready to take this role and move the process of the European integration forward. Let's not forget that it was in 2003, and it was in a Greek city in Thessaloniki that all this discussion about the accession started. So I think that Greece has a role and is ready, as I said before, to play this role in order to push forward the positive agenda. And we ourselves as Delphi Economic Forum, and together with Vienna Economic Forum and other prominent organizations, we're doing exactly this because we do have, apart from our own Delphi Economic Forum, which is like a big event happening in Delphi, we do have satellite events in mostly literally all European capitals of Southeast Europe. But most importantly, we have a conference in Brussels. And this, I think, comes to show that we need some kind of an extroversion, because all this discussion, all this fora, and all these policy discussions are really important, but at the end, happening in our region. But at the end of the day, it's really important to communicate what we need to have in the decision-making cities, so to speak. So going to Brussels is really important. And in order to come back to your discussion about what Greece has to offer, I think that you know, it comes to show, first of all, of what happens in Greece. It is two main things. One, because we had this as well, is an answer to Euroscepticism. So Euroscepticism is not really the solution. The solution, as I said before, is more Europe. So one is to highlight the significance of Europe in the domestic audiences. And this is, Greece can give an example to the rest of the countries and to the rest of the governments that it's really important to highlight what Europe has to offer in the domestic audience. And second, on the other hand, because every coin has two sides, also from Greece, a message to the EU that it needs to take the accession procedures more seriously and actually communicate to the countries that this is a serious decision, and they are ready to give the incentives to the countries, and they are ready to continue the conversation in a very credible manner. So being a member geographically of the Southeastern European countries and also being a member of the EU, I think that these two things is the most important. Thank you.
As a perfect communicator, yeah, between those. Thank you. So let's move from Greece to Bulgaria and to His Excellency Magister Bogdan Bogdanov, Minister of Economy and Industry of the Republic of Bulgaria. And I guess we are all eager to hear how you assess the economic development to Bulgaria and to the whole region.
Thank you very much. For me, it's really a great pleasure to be here, and I would like to congratulate the organizers for the 20th anniversary of the Vienna Economic Forum. It's definitely established as a solid base for the collaboration and strengthening the importance of the Southeastern European region. And now, within the times that we are living with the geopolitical instability around us, it's the time to build bridges. It's the time that we can really show the importance of our region, not only for our countries, but also the importance of the economic development of Europe in general. And there are a variety of aspects which we are considering as politicians when we need to make a decision, but my message here would be that now it's the time to leave aside a bit, let's say, the emotional political decisions that from time to time are taken, and to focus on really important aspects for the development, again, of our countries, of our region, but of Europe in general. And we see that trend coming as a very important factor, especially after COVID and now with the war in Ukraine, with the war in Israel at the moment and Palestine. That's the clear sign that unity is something of key importance in order to be successful and to secure the resilience of our economies. But here I would like to mention a few very important aspects, because in our discussion we have four main pillars. Yes, infrastructure is very important, and I will mention some key initiatives which are also of regional and European importance that Bulgaria is up to at the moment. Energy, digitalization, innovation, but there's something missing. And for me, the fifth, and maybe it's not even a pillar, is the solid base for accomplishing our target are the people. And this is something that we should consider as a main prerequisite in order to succeed. When it comes to development of Europe, we see that our region has become of crucial importance, not only because of the fact that we became the energy hub and energy transportation hub in Europe, but also in terms of logistics, in terms of supply chain, in terms of sustainability of deliveries of goods. Our region is becoming more and more important. And of course, Schengen is a crucial part for the full integrity of our region, but this is just the initial step. The inclusion of our countries, if I give the example with Schengen, will not make a real sense if we don't invest in infrastructure, if we don't invest in sustainable energy infrastructure, if we don't invest in sustainable development of our society, of our people. And here, I would like to give just a few examples, mainly in terms of energy. First of all, Bulgaria is a net exporter of energy, so we do understand the importance of our resilience in terms of energy production, but we are also looking to diversify the energy production in our country so that we can ensure a sustainable energy, but at the same time at the most optimum cost for the business. This is how we can only make the sustainability happen. We are investing in new nuclear capacity. There are more than 15 gigawatts of new renewables under initial planning or development at the moment. But now we need to think about new energy storage capacity, which is significant, expansion of the grid capacity so that we can secure also energy supply to our neighbors. And yes, we could have energy at affordable cost for the business, but how we can accomplish our target for a full integration and sustainability of our region if we don't invest also in infrastructure. And this comes to the point that it's not only a national priority. We're talking about importance of regional and European magnitude. It was just recently announced that Bulgaria and also Greece, Romania, we are joining efforts to develop the North-South corridor so that we can connect the Greece seaports with Bulgarian seaports from south to north, going all the way to Ukraine. And this is, again, key initiative which will benefit not only our countries and our region, but it will be one of the main transportation corridors securing the supply chain for our businesses and our partners in Central and Western Europe. At the same time, we need to invest also in our seaport infrastructure. So there is, at the moment, a very important project for the expansion of the seaport in Burgas with additional container terminal. And here we are talking about the middle corridor. Again, another very important transportation corridor which we want to enable the smoother and easier transportation of goods from east to west. Investments in new industrial zones. This is also a very important factor in order to secure the sustainability of our businesses. And when it comes to industrial zones, we cannot afford to spend years of planning and years of inefficiencies to think about what needs to be done. We need to be closer to the business because this is when we can really materialize the efficiency that we are looking for. Because the business is agile, the business is fast, and when we combine that efforts which the government should make in order to develop the right infrastructure, this should be tailor-made to the needs of the business. Initially, our region started as an outsourcing destination. Now I'm coming to the other 2 points, digitalization and innovation. Yes, we were very much interesting for our Central and Western European partners for establishing local hubs and providing outsourcing and BPO services to European, US and international customers. But the situation has changed. And today, our region, and I think it's been mentioned already, became a hub for digitalization, became a hub for innovation. Just to give you a few examples, in terms of digitalization, we are very much keen to implement the government strategy of Bulgaria, which only on the municipality level, just as an example, we have more than 400 different services that needs to be implemented. Again, this will provide a lot of efficiency for the society, for the businesses, but this is also a great playground for innovations, great playground for startups to develop their future products, which again can be implemented in our country, in our region, but also throughout Europe. In terms of innovation, yes, there are outstanding companies in our region which are setting the standards in key industries, which industries will be the future of Europe. We have companies which are leaders in space, building space satellites, and actually one of the Bulgarian companies just on Sunday launched 5 satellites together with SpaceX. So we have now Bulgarian satellites providing services as environmental assessment, security, communication, disaster management. These are disruptive technologies that we are now building with the capacities that we have created through the last years. And interestingly, again, we started as an outsourcing destination, but now we are also a magnet for experts, engineers that are coming to work for these innovative companies. Just one example, this satellite company, they have out of 200 people in their staff, they have 70 people which came from abroad to live and work in Bulgaria, just to have access to this innovation. A great collaboration between Bulgaria and Greece, I can mention, with the first actually cargo drone airline which was licensed in Bulgaria. This is a Bulgarian innovation, first licensed in Europe, and starts the commercial flights in Greece in partnership with a Greek company and a system integrator. So we are starting to delivering goods 4 times cheaper than the conventional aircrafts. So these are just few of the examples that I can mention now, but there are a lot more. There are a lot more, and we have actually, just so my notes here, the first unicorn, which was born in Bulgaria last year in the fintech sector. And all of these examples I want to mention because our region is a happening place now. Our region provides a lot of opportunities for growth, for development, even at the moment. Our economies are growing now with roughly 2%, while at the same time we see Central and Western European countries being in a recession. If we're united, this is giving us a chance to be really resilient in our development, and all of these projects that we are going to realize now in terms of infrastructure, grid, connectivity, space, these projects are open for partnership, and I think Western European countries should look in our region as a great opportunity for development and diversification in these difficult economic times. And I will finish with the fifth pillar, or the basis to accomplish our target, people. We cannot do anything if we don't invest and develop our people. And here, we are very much committed in Bulgaria to sustain the development of our society. And one last example was the creation of the Institute for Computer Science, Artificial Intelligence and Technology, which was a substantial effort by several governments in the row, highly supported by the society. This is an institute which became the hub for our region, not only for Bulgaria, a hub for our region for high-level research and development in the fields of artificial intelligence, computer science, machine learning. We now have in Bulgaria professors from ETH in Zurich, Polytechnics of Lausanne, Stanford. Some of them actually, they relocated in Bulgaria, like Professor Luc Van Gogh. He lives in Bulgaria, he's a mentor in our programs, and our government invested more than 90 million euros to support this project. So we are very much dedicated. We are not just an observer. We are investing in the development of our people. We are investing also in dual education, which will be the basis for the capacities of our society to support the business in their future plans. With that said, I would like to conclude that we can become stronger and resilient only if we really build those bridges between our countries, our regions, bridges in terms of economic development, culture, but also we could only survive in these difficult times and be resilient if we are united to accomplish our common task and make Europe really a place that people can live in a security environment, people can travel freely, reaching one destination to another as fast as possible. And on this solid base, we rely also on the business, because otherwise we cannot accomplish our tasks, we cannot generate the resources that we need in order to invest in these future plans. So I'm very much positive about the future of our region and in Europe, and the only prerequisite to do that is to be united. Thank you.
Thank you. So you draw a new picture of our future house with not only 4 pillars, but 5, or to better say, a fundament of people. And I wonder what will be the roof, probably the topic of security that you made the point right now. Thank you also for sharing the best cases, the proving points of shared responsibility. We have now another best case, a serious proof point of responsibility for the European energy future. We have the Ambassador, Professor Dr. Vesna BOROZAN, here with us, Head of Power Systems Department, University St. Cyril and Methodius in Skopje in North Macedonia. And you have prepared a presentation for us, I guess, taking a look at the Horizon project Transit that you, your team, and the university are working on.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. I'm really honored to be part of this distinguished panel here. When I saw the title of our session, I was struck by the word responsibility. So knowing well the current EU legislation in energy sector, electricity sector especially, actually the legislation is bringing down responsibility and activities, participation in the electricity market to every citizen, to people, as our distinguished minister mentioned. So to the basis. So I asked myself, being a citizen of Europe and also a university professor in power systems and electricity markets, if I'm responding my responsibility, if what besides the research in new technologies that provide communication, what else I can do? So I decided for this session to present another project which is not research, but more focused on education, training, skilling, and reskilling. My team from the university is one of the partners, and the whole project is especially grateful to Ambassador Dr. Elena Kircheva, General Secretary of the Vienna Economic Forum, for supporting the project as being a member of the International Advisory Board of the project. So this colorful template belongs to the transit project, Transition to Sustainable Future Through Training and Education. And actually it's our projection of the sustainable and clean Europe after this transition. Here we have basic information about the transit project. 12 partners from 8 countries of Europe, they are noticed in the picture, work mainly on training, skilling, and education for current and future generations. Our target groups, actually the main aim is to reach as many people as possible, as many institutions in Europe as possible. So the target groups are, first of all, industry, academia, pre-university education, including very small children in primary schools, and maybe the most important, local communities and broader publics, non-governmental organizations, and so on. We also target policymakers and energy regulators, but they're targeted through interviews, approaching them, asking for interview to gain their opinion and their considerations. The topics in the projects are sustainability, circularity and externalities, human capital, innovative educational resources, upskilling and reskilling, also society engagement, behaviors, and gender disparities. The main actions are related to multidisciplinary education materials. We prepare also work on innovative approaches to education. So internships in industry, which are very important, hands-on capacity building, training challenges, and competition and awards that led by example. the last but not least, what the project is considered is raising awareness for gender equal opportunities. Actually, there is a big space within the project devoted to equal opportunities for all. Normally, we consider EU energy policy and legislative framework regarding this. And what supports actually these equal opportunities for all are exactly new technologies that were mentioned here, digitalization of the energy industry, I would say, not only electricity. So diversity of race and energy efficiency technologies and so on, energy efficiency. And do not forget the need to provide cybersecurity and resilience of the networks of the infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you for presenting this project. And I would like to come back to the people mentioned by His Excellency, because I assume that in order to do all this growth, we need the right peoples and the right leaders especially, and no one knows better than Professor Dr. Danica Purg, President of the IEDC-Bled School of Management in Slovenia, how to develop these leaders. And probably you let us know a little bit more about your work in this field.
Thank you very much. I was very impressed by the speech of my, I can't say colleague, but colleague by sitting close to me, the Bulgarian minister, who was talking about, you know, the hidden things that we don't know. And I think that this forum is a place where we can really show a little bit what Eastern Central Europe and Southeast Europe has. In our school, in Bled School of Management, which is an international management school, we make already now for the third time the research. And this is a research on hidden champions. That means about the companies that are the most innovative in the world in their market niche. And you would be very surprised. We presented this when we made the second research. We presented the results to EBRD in London, and their investors came, etc. So that was interesting for them. And what we could present is that the things that even the countries by themselves don't know, don't realize. Like that Bosnia has the best mountain bicycles in the world, that they are the biggest producers of candles in the world, that Macedonia makes all these beautiful art masks in Venice. It's made in Shkodra in Albania, etc. So, you know, Slovenia is serving the 4 main hospitals in Boston, and Boston is very famous in hospitals, etc., in the healthcare. We are making them with company Kozilab, where also are foreigners employed because they hear for these companies and they come, like you mentioned, from all over the world, etc., etc. Artificial intelligence is again something, nanotechnology, etc. So Sweden has, for instance, 2 hidden champions by million inhabitants. Slovenia has 2 million inhabitants and has 16 such hidden champions. So this is all to be considered and to study and to realize. How do we educate? How should we educate people for the future? We should educate them to be excellent, and with education which is excellent and relevant. Relevant means that you are really helping countries and companies to develop and to support the reforms in different countries, not just to be put, to be richer and better as individuals, but really to help to society, entire society to develop. This is what we try to do in our school. So, how to educate people for for industries that don't exist yet, for technologies that are not yet there, for social impacts that is not foreseen yet. So all this you can do if you are turning the things around and educate people to become more imaginative, more creative, more responsible. So that means, like in our school, we found a way to educate them through the art. And art is helping us to see more, to hear more, to feel more. You have to develop senses. You know, you have to progress in this field to make people more responsible, more resilient, which is the word that we use here a lot, to make people really to be more creative. And that you can do by learning for the different metaphors. And one of the strong metaphor is art. So this would be my contribution, and I'm very happy to be here because I see that I can also learn a lot from you all and from the audience too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Purg. And I come back to the first topic that we had, the green transition process, and to the Deputy State Secretary, Ministry of Climate and Energy from the Republic of Latvia. We are really honored to have you here, Ms. Liga Rosenthaler, and you have prepared some slides for us, also focusing on the key challenges and opportunities in this green transition process.
Yes, thank you very much for this excellent opportunity to participate in this anniversary Vienna Economic Forum. Though the slogan says go southeast, we could also say go northeast, which is where the Baltic states are, and we are all interlinked in one or another way, and especially in the energy sector. And I think we all have similar challenges, similar opportunities, and that's why it's very interesting to hear all the stories regarding the southern regions of Europe, but I will share a bit more about the Baltic states. One of the issues that we are very proud of currently is that actually Latvia is in the second place regarding the renewable energy share in the European Union. And last year, 2 years ago, we were in the third place. Now we are already in the second place. And it shows that also a small country can build the bridges and break the stones and achieve things that are actually very hard. But I see that most European countries are working their way towards renewable energy, and you can see how in 1 year all the member states and there are also European Economic Zone member states are jumping with the share of renewable energy, how the challenges that we have geopolitically have made us break through to even a higher share of renewable energy. And, but of course, to ensure even higher usage of renewable energy, nevertheless it's Baltic states, the whole Europe, whatever, we of course need the interconnections. First of all, we need interconnections to ensure currently our energy security. For example, Latvia is still net importer of electricity, so we of course need interconnections. At the same time, if we are moving towards to be exporters, to be self-independent and be exporters, we also need interconnections, new interconnections to export electricity away from us. But while we are thinking about those green transition ways, we of course still are reliable on gas, on natural gas. At the same time, it's very important for us that we have fully forbidden Russian gas in Latvia, and from the 1st of January we are not importing, in the whole Baltic states, we are not importing natural gas from Russia. But that also shows how important interconnectedness is, because we can only do that because we have an LNG terminal in our neighboring country, Lithuania. We have an LNG terminal in Finland. We have an interconnection between Lithuania and Poland, making the pavement to the whole Europe for us for natural gas. And this shows the real importance of interconnections. But of course, when we are speaking about renewable energy, that's not the whole picture that we want to achieve. As also before the other panelists mentioned energy efficiency. And as famously said Vice President of European Commission a few years ago, the previous Vice President Maroš Šefčovič, the cheaper energy is the one that we don't use. So of course we have to increase our strength in working towards energy efficiency measures. And I know that countries here and as well that are not here are working hard on energy efficiency measures. It doesn't matter if it's insulating or better cars or in the industry sector better technologies. And then thirdly, of course, here we come to the common goal to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. And how do we do that? That all comes together in dividing those different tasks in different sectors. And we have to be just. We have to ensure that neither the society, neither the industry sectors are put in a burdensome situation, or they have lower competitiveness because they have very high targets that they can't achieve. So we have to help them. We have to ensure that they are able to transfer their technologies to newer technologies, to more energy efficient technologies, that they use less energy and that they are still very competitive. So it all comes down to basically three main objectives that we have in energy sector in Latvia. We want to be energy independent, and when we ensure independence, we want to go further to export. We need to use effectively, and I think I can speak of all the countries here, the resources that we have in our countries. For Latvia, for example, we have forests so much that we are the second most forested country in the European Union, and we have to take this opportunity and use it for biomass, for greenhouse gas reductions, to store the greenhouse gas emissions. And we have so much water opportunities in our rivers for hydroelectric power plants, and we have very good wind potential for wind parks, and that's what we have to focus on. And then eventually the third most important aspect is market economy. We have to ensure that the market in energy sector in Latvia is in such a position that the government does not have to put their money investments in energy producers. We have to ensure that demand and supply meets each other, and that the energy production projects can develop on themselves. And then eventually you can put everything that we want to do in just one honeycomb, and this is basically Latvia's energy strategy, where we put what we are strong at, what are our advantages, in some of the most important aspects that we have, areas where we have to focus on, and then eventually we can ensure security of supply, decarbonized economy, and energy export, improving welfare. And I think that's the goal basically of all the countries here. So I hope that we can get there. Thank you.
Thank you. So again, we hear the message that independence can't be the solutions. It's more about interdependence, or the better word, of course, is what you brought in. It's the interconnectedness as one important response. Yeah, and I would like to close this round with Mr. Lulzim Rafuna, President of the Managing Board, Western Balkans 6th Chamber Investment Forum, and President of Kosovo Chamber of Commerce. We heard already a little bit in the first round about the Western Balkans, and you will give us an idea of the infrastructural development, the green energy transition, and the digital technology and innovation in the Western Balkans.
Thank you very much. Before we delve into the specific of the session, I want to provide a brief overview of the Western Balkans 6 states. This region, home to 70 million people, occupies a strategic position as a vital transit area and the market for European Union 27 member states. In fact, the European Union is the Western Balkan largest trading partner and investors. The synergy between the Western Balkans and the EU is undeniable and has yielded remarkable outcomes. Western Balkan 6 Chambers Investment Forum, representing the interests of 70 million citizens across the Western Balkan, has collectively generated a GDP of euro 129.3 billion. The economic strength is driven by 375,000 businesses, employing nearly 7 million individuals. Furthermore, the region has attracted in euro 8.8 billion in foreign direct investment, underscoring the confidence that international investors have in our potential. One of the most remarkable figures to highlight is that in 2022, 67.9% of the total Western Balkans export of the goods has been directed or exported to EU. This indicates the depth of economic ties and cooperation that have been nurtured between the Western Balkans and the European Union. Our private sector entrepreneurs who are focused on cooperation with Western Europe have played a pivotal role in enhancing economic ties and driving growth in the Western Balkans. Through Western Balkans 6 Chambers Investment Forum, we are committed to fostering a climate of cooperation, innovation, and investment that benefits both our region and European partners. Acting together with responsibility for European future infrastructure, energy, digital technology, innovation, which is a testament to the collective efforts to the Western Balkans 6 Chambers Investment Forum, and the private sector to shape a brighter European Union future through collaboration with partners from the EU. Based in our session topic, I can start to conclude that Western Balkans 6 has all these key points of our topics and still working hard to develop these points more. Western Balkans 6, with different partners, is acting together in responsibility for European future. I will highlight the Western Balkans 6 Chambers Investment Forum, in collaboration with the governments and private sector, is actively working on the topics of which are with interest for infrastructure development, green energy, innovation, and IT. For infrastructure development, in close cooperation with governments and private sector, has been actively engaged, particularly in areas of highways and railways. Notably, Kosovo stands a shining example of this commitment, boasting one of the most robust infrastructure in the Western Balkans, and we are continuously working to enhance our railway infrastructure. The development of robust and efficient infrastructure is essential for connecting our region to the broader European network, fostering economic growth and facilitate the trade. Western Balkan, in line with the green transition agenda, is making significant strides to the realm of energy. Our country are collectively focusing on green energy sources to reduce our carbon footprint and contribute to a more sustainable future. As an illustration of commitment, I would like to highlight Kosovo ambition goals. According to Kosovo strategic plans 2022-2031, the investment is seen to be 1.2 billion or more than 900 megawatt. So, latest Kosovo government has taken a major step of opening a solar auction for 100 megawatts in Kosovo, in Kravnik municipality of Ravec. This location holds a nice potential for development of 100 megawatt solar power plant. Digital technology and innovation in Western Balkan is in the ever-evolving world of digital technology. Under the management board of the Western Balkans 6 Chambers Investment Forum has been established the regional center in Kosovo dedicated to whole Western Balkans country. Through this innovation center, our aim is to equip the region's young population with qualification certification needed to thrive in today's labor market. By investing in skills and expertise of the our youth, we are not only building a competitive workforce, but also driving innovation and digital transformation across the region. This initiative is an essential part of our commitment to prepare the Western Balkans for a rapidly changed economic landscape. In conclusion, let me through this session to underscore the commitment of Western Balkan Six Chambers Investment Forum, governments and private sector from the Western Balkan country that are acting responsibility and in coordination with European partners by focusing on infrastructure development, sustainability energy, digital technology and innovation. We are actively shaping the European future and advance our collective goals. This effort will not only contribute to economic growth, but also foster a more sustainable for prosperous future for our region and European counterparts. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for the commitment, for your commitment, for all the commitments here. And I would like to suggest now, as we are behind schedule and as lunch is also waiting for us, I would like to invite you all to a closing round. And let's imagine we sit here in probably not in 20 years at the 4th Jubileum, but in, let's say, 5 years, as things are moving so fast. What should have happened if everything is going in the best way in 5 years? What would you be proud of having realized, managed? And what was necessary to come there, to do an achievement in 5 years? So probably let's close with this message from your side, looking really into the future. And let's do it really in a row, starting with Mr. ANZENGRUBER, who was the first one to start at the very beginning of this session. And please, if you could start again.
If we try to have a look in 5 years in front of us, I think it will be key that I think the extent of cooperation and collaboration is improved. Definitely into all the regions within Europe. I think if infrastructure is also one of the key role for, especially in the energy sector. I think that we have also eliminated all barriers we have today, and we are working on one marketplace and really in an approach, an European approach. I think that will be helpful for all, let's say, competitive instruments we need additionally in the systems, and I think the people and the skill of the people will be also one of the fundament for Europe to really be successful in the global competition.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it was very inspiring to listen to all the different presentations, because I'm thinking now in 5 years, by the way, is very short. I think it's a very quick, it goes by very quickly. But if we could achieve that the net, how can I say, immigration into the Southeast Europe is a positive one, instead of the negative one that we heard this morning, where people are moving to Western Europe, for young people are moving to Western Europe because they have education but no business opportunity. So let's hope that that reverses in the next 5 years, and that we have a positive, that Dutch people, like my kids, go to Southeast Europe for new opportunities. That would be amazing.
It's a clear goal, no? Thank you.
I imagine to live in 5 years in a clean, peaceful is number one, clean and beautiful, innovative environment.
If I can dream a bit, I imagine that in 5 years from now, of course, we will be able to deal with the rule of law problems we have in our region, because this is a main prerequisite to have the sustainable future. I will be able to reach Thessaloniki and Istanbul for 2 hours by train. That's something that we need to work hardly to improve as connectivity. And last but not least, my kids will be finding in our region, in Bulgaria, a place that they can study. They will be proud with full access to the top world professors that usually are only found in Western countries or across the ocean. Thank you.
Well, thank you. After all these inspirational thoughts, maybe first my wish is that the progress we achieve in 5 years is perceived as a shared journey, but not as a competitive race. Second is I really hope and I believe that we could be in 5 years' time not only more united, because I think today that the word of the day is unity, but also by overcoming our let's say divides. We should stop looking back in the past. We should stop looking for what could divide us. The only common denominator is really what unites us and what is the driving force of the future, and the future are the young people and the youngest generation.
And Bulgaria should let Northern Macedonia become a member of European Union.
Bulgaria will.
The Western Balkan countries, they doesn't have another alternative. Only alternative is integrated in EU. And now I'm very happy, and because the EU institution already made clear the first step of integration, 2013, as indicated date. And now the growth plan, I think, is a very good tool to foster more the integration. And because the Balkan has need for EU, and the EU has need for the Balkan. And I see this integration as something which cannot be stopped. Now it's just a matter of how much we in Balkan will work to fulfill our condition or task to be integrated in EU as fast as is possible. Thank you.
Thanks. Honestly, what I imagine, what is my wish for the next 5 years is that electricity markets in Southeast Europe be coupled. Infrastructure is in place. Electricity networks of Western Balkan 6 and also with neighbors Greece, Romania and Bulgaria are very well interconnected. So it is not only in investing in infrastructure. That infrastructure is not used effectively, as my colleague here said. To use them effectively, to provide them more benefits to the citizens, harmonization of the legislation is needed as a basis, and also knowledge. Very much deep knowledge in functioning of the markets, of opportunity that the market gives to the people, which opportunities reaches now even every citizen who can become a prosumer and can influence consumption also and provide for cleaner and greener Europe. Thank you.
Yes, similarly to what other panelists already said, I would say that it's important that in 5 years we don't have to think about energy security as the most important aspect, but so that we can switch the focus on new innovations, on new technologies, and hydrogen, small nuclear reactors, carbon capture and storage, all those areas that are still under consideration in many parts of the world and that are more in the research phase, because a lot of financing is going towards infrastructure and energy security and to avoid energy imports. But I think that in 5 years we could be already in the phase, in the area where the energy security is ensured, and then we can more focus on renewables and on innovations.
Thank you.
The final word.
I'm the last one. I do believe that brain drain is the biggest problem in the area. And so in 5 years, I would like to see an acceleration of reforms that goes two ways. From the one side, I want to see acceleration of reforms in terms of institution building. And from the other side, I would like to see acceleration of reforms in terms of increasing the integration capacity, so to speak, from the Brussels side. So this is the way I would like to see things moving forward. Thank you very much.